welcome. I've never done this before, so you'll have to bear with me, especially after Mr. Howard Jones' superb delivery, who's a professional. I probably have a ragaz tea planter by comparison to him. But anyway, I'd like to share with you the experiences that I had over a long period of time in connection with crop circles. What I tried to do, I didn't unfortunately have enough literature to give you, but some people do have illustrations of some of the things that I will mention in here. Crop circles, wow, where do we start? A giant hoax or some form of non-human intelligence trying to communicate with us? If so, what is the message? For example, have any of you seen or been in a crop circle at all? Anyone had experience of it?
No.
Right. I'll tell you what I know anyway. I'll never forget the first crop circle I saw was in 2004 in Sher Hill, just outside the town of Caen in Wiltshire, southern England. It was situated below the White Horse, which is carved out of the hillside and consists of chalk. Now, on the front page of some of the people that have the leaflets, you will see the actual White Horse and also the crop formation. That particular crop formation measured some 380 feet across, geometrically absolutely perfect, and that particular design was actually the Star of David of Bethlehem. Now it's interesting to note that crop circles are never replicated. There are no two crop circles the same, they're all entirely different. When inside the crop circle, you could actually feel a very, very definitive energy. The crop was swathed and bent. Now the interesting thing is, the nodules of the corn were actually bent. They weren't broken in any shape or form. The crop inside had a very rough, hard feel to it, rather sticky actually in substance, whilst the crop outside of the circle was very, very smooth and pliable, as though great energy had actually, the crop had been exposed to. This area, that is where the crop circle was, with its vast plains, is actually the breadbasket of England, and is rich in many, many ley lines. There's so many ley lines and energy lines on this plain. For example, we've got Stonehenge, the Neolithic stones of Avebury, and a large supposed ancient burial mound called Silbury Hill, which has been suggested that over the centuries it's been a landing site for UFOs. I have no evidence of it as such that I can show you now, but it is a theory. And in fact, Silbury Hill rises above the flat plains of Wiltshire and is itself completely flat and can be seen for miles, because if you are familiar with that area, the area is vast as all plains. The whole area is actually a hotspot for various light phenomena and crop circles, encompassing all areas in around Caen, Pewsey, Devizes, Avebury, Alton Barnes and Bishop's Canning. I became so interested in this that I became a member of the Wiltshire Crop Circle Society for over 10 years. And over this time we had, or I've seen literally a few hundred crop formations, a result of an incredible phenomena or man-made. Yes, absolutely. Men on the way home from the pub with planks, gas cylinders, dogs, do make formations which are instantaneously different in quality from the others. However, what about large circles designed that appear in desert sands or circle designs in ice? Now, a very interesting thing has come forward this evening. The gentleman here has brought a very unique picture of a massive circle which has been man-made, formed on the sands in Westbury.
I'll pass it round later on.
Total coincidence or what? He's just brought it here this evening anyway. For example, man-made, if you think they're man-made. Some years ago, a large formation with a highly complex pattern of 1,000 circles within circles, producing the shape of a scorpion. Again, perfect geometrically, within 50 yards of the main London road in and out of the town of Caen. Summertime, I think it's reasonable to say, it's dark, 11 o'clock, 11:15, dawn, summertime, 4:30, and it's there for all to see. Within 50 yards of the main road, no one sees a thing. The formation measured some 980 feet across, achieved in 4.5 hours in the dark, and no one sees a thing. So guys, if you are doing these things, show us. We've seen the smaller circles and everything, but not on that scale, and these are absolutely perfectly made. And again, I repeat myself, the cone is actually swathed and not broken, it's just bent. No one's left their planks there, empty bottles of scrumpy, or their ex-wives. Researchers believe there is evidence of a very high energy being applied. Skeptics, of course, believe the majority of formations are all man-made. For example, some years ago, there was a design of a Mitsubishi car made for an advert in Alton Barnes in Wiltshire back in 1998. This took an astonishing 2 days to complete in broad daylight. When did crop circles start? I really can't answer that. The earliest we have any reference to anything to do with crop circles, back in 1678, obviously a long time ago, there was something known as the mowing devil, and he was an impish style character that literally went through the crop, created a formation with a scythe. But that's going back from historical times. I can't actually tell you. Probably I would think within the last 30 or 40 years crop circles have become very prevalent. During my 10 years as member of the Crop Circle Society, we had many interesting weekends researching, exploring, and each year there was a new formation. Now over that period of time we had a number of very interesting people from all over the world giving talks, researchers and skeptics alike. Notably, the world leading researcher on crop formations is a Navajo Indian by the name of Rod Bearcloud, now living in Canada. His whole life has been studying crop circles all over the world. In this country, for example, they're contained in Wiltshire. Don't seem to get anything in Newcastle or Sunderland or whatever. And whilst we get UFO sightings in West Wales, we don't get crop circles. He studied the subject for many years. He believes that they come from the hieroglyphics in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid. As far as the Incas are concerned, it comes from Machu Picchu in Peru, and the temples of Cambodia, and many various sacred sites all over the world. Again, I repeat myself, there are never two patterns alike. Each is completely individual with its own message. For example, as far as Rod Bearcloud was concerned, Indian reservations in America are self-policing. No government authority is allowed entry or fly over their land without permission. He says that his forefathers, for thousands of years, have actually been visited by what he calls the star people, who apparently come, not unlike the Egyptians, from the dog star or Orion, and that we humans are the offspring of extraterrestrials, who are deeply concerned that their prodigies are destroying Mother Earth, which is true, with chemicals, civil war, possibly nuclear attacks. That's the biggest fear of all. These glyphs or binary messages are sent to us in the form of a crop circle, warning us of the damage that we're actually doing to Mother Earth, and as a consequence of destroying the world, we, however, are not advanced enough to be able to interpret and see what these signs are actually telling us. The extremely precise geometrical qualities of some crop formations. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a leaflet, on the second page, a German researcher has drawn the geometry of a crop circle, which is, when you have a look at it, is so complex that it is absolutely perfect. And each crop circle has its own geometry before it's actually put into a circle. Now, these circles are either natural mathematical laws or some kind of premeditated intelligence is involved in it. The notion that such non-random accuracy could be tramped out by hoaxers in dark fields severely stretches the credibility of many observators. Complex tangents, geometrical alignments, present in 3 of the pictograms that are actually on page 2. I do apologise that not everybody managed to get the information, but the people who do have it can see on page 2 the complex of it. If it means anything, the gentleman's name who actually studied and is a specialist on it, his name is Wolfgang Schneidler, got a name, and John Martineau. They're the 2 people responsible for the research on these, and they have carried out extensive research on that area. Now, another well-known person who was actually president of Wiltshire Crop Circle Society for many years before he died was leading singer with 60s, 70s band The Trogs, was Reg Presley. Here, Reg. Where are you, Reg? There's the man there in the middle, Reg Presley. I'm sure you've all heard about him. Now, Reg lived in Devizes and was very, very knowledgeable on all of this. Reg wrote a very interesting book called 40 Things They Won't Tell Us About. I have a copy of it, which I'll bring next time. Couldn't get it in time for this evening. Now, a video which he once showed us at one of the meetings showed a farmer ploughing a furrow on the Wiltshire plain, and directly behind him was a big plantation of corn. Without any warning, 3 orbs of light about the size of large beach balls came down from the sky, and for about 5 minutes they actually just went over the crop, up, down, just over it. Then all of a sudden a formation was created by these orbs of light, which went directly straight up into the sky, and there they were. Now, if this was a hoax, I don't know. It's one that Reg actually presented and showed us, and as I say, people can make their own judgment whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Anyway, I'd like to say before I conclude, because I've brought quite a long DVD for you to see on various crop circles, which will take all evening, and we're not going to do that because we've got other things to discuss. But you can see it for 20-25 minutes. I've had this for many years and I've never seen it myself, so I'll be quite interested in seeing what it's about. There's one very interesting crop circle. I'm sure you've heard of the organisation SETI, which is Search for Extraterrestrial Life, the Americans, and they have a signal station in Arecibo in Puerto Rico. Now, in 1974, they sent a binary message out to the universe, of which is on, I think it's the second page before the end of that particular leaflet. And basically, it had our numerals at the top, alphabet underneath, what we conceive to be the universe in a shape with a drawing of a human being, and the letter M underneath. Now this was sent out from Arecibo in 1974 and took quite a while before we actually had a reply, which we did have a reply in 2002 in the form of a crop circle at Chilburton in Hampshire. Very, very interesting. Was it a hoax? Was it genuine? It was a very, very complex message. Basically, the message was that the universe was different to the form that we believed it to be, and there was a grey alien on it. And was it a hoax? Was it real? I don't know. But it's quite interesting because, I say, it took 20 years in order to get a reply. Was it man-made? Very, very complicated. But anyway, not a lot I can add. I think I'll let the crop circles do the work, and you can have a look at the video and see the different formations, and if I can be of service to you in any way, any questions you want to ask, some form of life.
Without any shadow of doubt.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So somewhere out there is an intelligence that is trying to teach us.
Without any shadow of doubt.
Yes.
A bag of that, only.
Okay. Anyone else? Will throw it in me? Not the drink.
What? Is any radiation levels elevated in these crop circles? Or?
Yes, there is. Yes. Yeah, there is. I mean, I couldn't specifically tell you to what level or whatever, but the very texture, the very nature, the very soil is entirely different within that complex than it is outside. So whatever is actually making them is a very, very high energy field to be able to produce, and indeed, as you noticed on the film, the corn is actually swathed. Even with an intense energy, it's not broken. Now, I would assume what you were saying, Steve, about youngsters doing it. And they do. I mean, there are men that go out and create crop circles. But when you actually study them, they are entirely different and can be seen as such. When you see it, you know it was man-made.
Yeah, that's exactly what this documentary was showing. They spent, 6 of them spent hours and hours and hours on this, and it was very, very basic. You know? So to produce something so difficult.
Well, something 980 feet across 4.5 hours in the dark.
Exactly.
You know, it's
geometrically perfect.
beggars belief, really, but there it is. It's there for everyone to see.
Lawrence, you had a question?
No, I was just going to say with the fake ones and the real ones.
Yeah.
Was there a difference in electromagnetic energy
Now,
and
to be honest
all that
with you,
stuff?
and to be fair, I've never
Was
been
it
in a
tested?
fake one. I've never been in a one that's actually fake, so I couldn't say to give it a fair comparison, you know.
Yeah.
No, the ones that I've seen that have come through all the society and whatever, and we've gone out and we've had a look at it, and and you can tell, instantly, you can tell the difference between a hoax one and one that is.
Anything else?
No. Well, I think we've a bit of break. Have a break now. 15 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll be up next. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes. I'll do my best to try and answer.